jogando, balançando a bunda. As meninas jogando e balança, 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 balançando a balança, 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 balançando a balança, 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 balançando, balançando a bunda. As meninas jogando e balança, 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 balança,
especialmente pra mulher que sabe que representa. Passa pra mim que tu aguenta. Passa pra mim que tu especialmente pra mulher que sabe que representa. Passa pra mim que tu aguenta. Passa pra mim que tu
tá ligado, chapadão. Mas o que as mulheres querem é o chique, quer Push.
wanted me. I wish I knew. I wish I knew you wanted me. I wish I
Na madrugada tu me prometeu que ia acabar comigo sentando. Agora vai pro papo que tá cheio de som. Toma. Madrugada tu me prometeu que ia acabar comigo sentando. Agora vai pro papo que tá cheio de som. Toma dormindo, toma.
É o MC Lopete, um cara importante. Esse é o Anubis, é o brabo da putaria.
Me chamou pra sua casa pra se drink. Me chamou pra sua casa
Toma bala, toma bala, toma, toma bala, toma
te pega firme no pulete, passa a visão, MC.
Para passar a
DJ do o DJ do baile que tá me atravessando. O DJ do baile que tá
É o DJ MH. Esse é o DJ MRS. Da putaria, porra. Vai dar sua de balinha, nós esse é o DJ MRS. Da putaria, porra.
Você quer seguir sua agressão, deixa sua bunda arder, dá tapa, tapa.
ついてこれるバカだけど次の景色を見せてやる
é o brabo da putaria. Fode com a buceta, fode com o coxo, você fode com a buceta. Fode com o coxo.
mão de...
DJ Tornado.
DJ Zé, Red, 17. DJ Zé, Red, 17. DJ Zé, Red, 17.
cachorra, puta, piranha. Quanto mais tu xinga ela, melhor, 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 melhor,
Gostosa pra caralho, tu dança.
Esse é o bonzinho, é o brabo da putaria.
Só quer soza, só quer soza, soza, senta pra Só quer soza, soza, senta pra Peita, peita, peita pra Gostosa, só quer soza, soza, senta pra
Esse é o Atlas, é o brabo da putaria. Esse é o bonzinho, é o brabo da putaria.
I'm flying for the Caroline.
tô gostado pra caceta. Essa piranha sei que 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 tô
É o DJ MH, é o brabo da putaria.
plataforma da para.
Ela foi pro baile de favela praticar putimento. Demais, tá do peru. Ela transa demais, tá do peru. Ela transa demais, tá do. Na madrugada do
É o MC Loquete, um cara importante. Esse é o Anubichal, é o brabo da putaria.
Me chamou pra sua casa pra se explique. Me chamou pra sua casa,
DJ é VTN, o brabo da putaria.
É ficar, solta putaria, porra.
Esse é o DJ SMG.
é o DJ FZ da ZN.
Obrigado a 200
Tá ligado, chapadão? Mas o que as mulheres querem é o DJ que é bullshit.
Para passar a passarale, arabi, cara puta, ito meio, para
Where is the girl that I used to meet down where the pale moon shines? Oh, anyone can see what's troubling me. I'm flying for the Caroline. There is the song I had in my heart that harmonized with the pine. Oh, anyone can see what's troubling me. I'm flying for the Caroline.
Oh,
passare le Arabi, porta la verità, chi io, vai, para passare Eu vou subir cato pra você para pica. Eu vou subir cato pra você para pica. Passa puta, passare le Arabi, porta la verità, chi io, vai, para passare
Where is the girl that I used to meet down where the pale moon shines? Oh, anyone can see what's troubling me. I'm flying for the Caroline.
Have y'all seen those videos that are like, oh no, I'm gonna drown! Oh, wait a minute, my helmet has respiration 3 on it. I have plenty of time to get out. Phew, I completely...
Nicorette pleister, omdat het soms moeilijk is een sigaret te weerstaan. Nicorette pleister helpt je 24 uur rookvrij te blijven. Onopvallend op de huid.
Tá ligado, chapadão? Mas o que as mulheres querem é o DJ que é
Para passar a la vida, la verdad,
Where is the girl that I used to meet down where the pale moon shines? Oh, anyone can see what's troubling me. I'm flying for the Caroline.
Ela veio pro baile de favela, praticar
gravel. And I gotta run to that village right away, because if any of these blocks get updated, everything's gonna fall.
Oh god, it's already falling. I swung
Why is this called do not click the sound? Okay, there's another one right there. Maybe I can...
Did you just click the sound?
What the hell? Huh? Have y'all seen those videos that are like Minecraft, but the entire world is gravel? And I gotta run to that village right away, because if any of these blocks get updated, everything's gonna fall.
Oh god, it's...
Bigger. Becker. Dimmer.
I had a dream. I know deliver food for you today.
What? Why Amir? I'm starving on this fucking Mars.
Caesar, how do you even get on Mars?
I just spawned here today. Now Chop Chop, I want to get my burger. I'll even give you a $2 tip.
No, you capping, sir. You not spawn there. I suspect you build different too.
What? No, I'm not. If I was, don't you think I'd spawn my own food?
Don't lie, sir. You always order to these weird-ass places. One time you in Ice Age. Another you in Point Nemo. And now you on fucking Mars.
So what? Uber Eats should deliver anywhere.
Uber Eats can't, sir. But I can.
Then do it, Amir. Imagine all the stuff you could buy with $2.
No. No change topic, sir. Remember time when you had to deliver me food? The way...
You will commit a crime in 3 minutes.
It's pretty direct.
Right? What does yours say?
Mine says, you will witness a crime.
Can you find me? I'm right here. Today, you have...
A man took his son's phone from him and then made this post online saying, "I've just taken my son's phone. How do I access his history?" And then someone else on the thread replied, "It's impossible." And he said, "Oh, thanks." Whoever this person was is an absolute king. This random internet stranger probably just saved this kid's whole life. A man Jody.
Don't you know I'm still standing better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor. Jody. I'm feeling like a little kid. Jody. This is a sleep.
Don't use beds to respawn in the nether, they will explode. Use respawn anchors instead. You can craft them by acquiring 6 crying obsidian and 3 glowstone blocks. Also acquire 4 glowstone blocks to be...
Life never boring. She bought Dior with a man from the store, but she bring it to my table when the drinks start pouring. She asking to come with the crew.
Bet your silence is my trade. Shut up. Lockjaw. Giving MCs lockjaw. Your silence is my trade. Shut up.
Speed, this is how to escape from a raging bull.
Bull starts charging at you. Most people would start running away, but bulls can run faster than humans in a straight sprint. Instead, try to move to the side to get out of the bull's path. If it's still chasing you, try running in a zigzag pattern. If there's a solid object like a tree nearby, use it as a barrier between you and the bull. If it tosses you, try to stay
Break that wall so we can escape.
Dude, did you know that an
So yesterday, Roblox accidentally banned thousands of players. Basically, if you were playing the new event, then your account had a chance of getting banned. What happened is Roblox was falsely flagging accounts for cheating and exploiting. But it turns out this was a bug and was never supposed to happen. Now, luckily, Roblox is in the middle of unbanning those players. So yesterday...
Jimmy, if I touch a laser, how long do I have before that door closes?
Less than a second.
3, 2.
You can turn me on with just a touch, baby. City's cold and
What is this? Working tight. Meow, meow. Meow, meow.
everybody say yippee yo and yippee yeah.
Oh!
Hi.
Hi. Yo, what the fuck?
Hi.
What the fuck?
Hi.
If this is you, you better lower your motherfucking tone when you talking to me.
I've created a new survival game on Roblox, but it's a bit shady. Every player will have a collar with a symbol, but it will be flipped so they can't see it. Other players will have to tell them what their symbol is. But if they respond with the wrong one, the game is in my Roblox group. I've created a new survival.
Hi, ik ben Maarten. Wil jij weten hoeveel jouw auto echt waard is? Ga naar wijkopenauto's.nl. Voer gewoon je autogegevens in en ontvang snel je verkoopprijs. En in één van de...
Welcome back to Escape the Backrooms, a game about the 600 million square miles of pure pain and suffering that you can randomly no-clip into called, that's right, the Backrooms. Now we all know about the levels filled with tons of monsters chasing you and even more waiting around every corner, but what if I told you that the Backrooms aren't actually all that bad? I mean, sure, you have levels filled with some of the most horrifying things known to mankind that'll leave you with a permanent 1,000-level stare, but you also have safe levels that not only don't have any danger, but can even help you survive. And one of those safe levels that you can finally chill out and crack open a can of almond water with the boys in is the Grass Rooms, which is a large indoor construction filled with grass and plants that contains rooms of various shapes and sizes. So it's kind of like the pool rooms, but instead of having pools, it just has a bunch of grass. So I guess it's actually nothing like the pool rooms at all, but I blocked out this room and then added textures, grass, props, and then set up the lighting and post-processing, and then I added even more areas and rooms scattered around that you can explore to try and find the exit. Now up until this point, every single safe level I've added has still had some sort of danger in it, but the grass rooms are different because they're completely safe and have absolutely no danger whatsoever, so you can feel free to take as much time as you want to explore.
I need some help, I'm stuck.
So it turns out that the grass rooms aren't actually completely safe, because if you happen to stand still in the grass for too long, vines will start growing around you and trap you in place, so you'll need to be constantly moving around whenever you're in grass trying to figure out how to get through the level. And if you or one of your teammates does happen to get stuck in the vines, you'll need to use a knife to very gently and very carefully cut them out of you. Or not. Now this level is rumored to not only have one possible exit from the backrooms, but two possible exits from the backrooms. And I don't want to spoil what they are, but you shouldn't get too excited if you happen to see something that looks like an exit, because while one of them ends up with you being alive, the other one ends up with you being 10,000 feet in the air free falling without a parachute, so make sure you make the right choice. So the next level I'm gonna add, which is probably the most asked about level ever, is level 974, which I know, I was supposed to add it over a year ago, but I didn't want to add it to the main story because unless you studied the entire Backrooms lore from start to finish, you have absolutely no clue why you're 11 hours into a horror game and suddenly spawn inside of a pink house filled with stuffed animals. So I redesigned the entire level from being a single room into a giant house with multiple floors and rooms to explore, and also made the entity model look a lot more detailed and not just be a random untextured stickman.
Why you bullying me?
Now the entity in this level is extremely friendly and will actually help you escape the backrooms, but there's one very important rule you need to always remember, and it's that whatever you do not mess with any of its plushies or it'll get very, very angry. So according to lore, in order to escape the level, you'll need to find stuffed animals and give them to the entity so that it'll help you escape. Just make sure not to take too long because I also made it teleport near random players, so if you happen to hear it teleport somewhere around you, make sure you stare directly at it and don't let them get too close because the entity isn't really that nice once they start to get impatient. Now I know what you guys are probably thinking. Why am I spamming even more crappy new levels instead of making the ones that are already in the game better like I said I would? And the main reason is that improving things that are already in the game takes the exact same amount of time as adding new things, and I don't want to spend a really long time only polishing old levels just to have everyone play for 5 minutes and be like, oh, that was cool, the game's a little more polished now, but like, we're all the new levels, they're coming soon, right? So even though the focus of this update is fixing all the bugs and issues in the current game instead of just pretending they don't exist, I do still want to make sure that there's at least some new levels for all of you who've already finished the game.
Hello, can anyone hear me? I'm still stuck. It's been a week.
So to fix my complete buggy mess of the game, I started off by replacing all the old item models with much more detailed and higher quality models. I mean, just look at this, the juice literally moves with the bottle. Now that's some detail right there. I also expanded some of the older levels and added animations when players use items so you can actually see when your teammates do things like drink almond water or even accidentally eat moth jelly instead of placing in the dumbwaiter like they're supposed to. And I also gave flashlights actual holding animations instead of them just having a random gun pose, which definitely looks a lot better than it did before. So before I make even more changes to the game, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe or you'll no clip into the backrooms. And also be sure to join my Discord and follow me on Twitter since I've been posting exclusive sneak peeks on there that you won't find anywhere else. And if you guys have been watching my videos and still haven't tried out the game yet, it's called Escape the Backrooms, so be sure to check it out using the link in the description below. Now the biggest issue in my game that I've literally lost countless nights of sleep over is the fact that the levels in my game are extremely detailed using photoscan textures and highly realistic props, while the player model is just this goofy Roblox looking ass. Now the reason I haven't replaced it yet is because I've tried experimenting with other player models, but it made the game feel way too different and a lot of players somehow actually like the current model and find it really funny.
Look at this dude.
Now I know that horror games aren't supposed to be funny, and it's actually pretty sad that it's funny since it definitely wasn't on purpose, but I got this retextured model that still looks the same, but just has higher quality textures and details, so let me know down in the comments what you guys think, because this is literally the 5th new player model I've experimented with adding to the game.
Question, face. What are those?
So all the new levels that I've added so far in this video are going to be part of alternate endings, and some of them will make you use mechanics from earlier in the game because it doesn't really make much sense that players would find a $50,000 NASA engineered LiDAR scanner and then just throw it away as soon as they finish the level. Now I know that I haven't been uploading too often, and it's not because I don't want to. I'd upload monthly or weekly or even daily if I could. And I really do hate that it takes so long to make since I don't want to see you guys waiting, and every time I check the comments or my Discord or my DMs or my emails, they're just spammed with people asking me when the update is coming out and how long it's going to take, and the longer it takes, the angrier the messages slowly start to get, so there's a lot of pressure to make sure that it's good enough for you guys. And it's even harder because I wasn't able to work on the game for a few months since I caught a really bad case of the hydrolytis plague and had to get surgery. Now I know that you guys probably expected it to be out by now, but I'll be uploading a trailer with the release date really soon and it'll be coming out on
Geniet samen van Disney Music Festival in Disneyland Parijs. Profiteer van onze flexibele voorwaarden. Boek nu je mei- of zomervakantie op disneylandparijs.com.
Welcome back to Escape the Backrooms, a horror game filled with deadly monsters who are hunting you down. Which is actually a really big problem because the Backrooms has friendly entities too, and every single entity in my game has been not so friendly. So I'm gonna add brand new entities that'll actually be your friend, as well as even more levels and features, starting with Party Poopers, which are entities that appear to be wearing a black jacket and jeans, a hood, and black sneakers. Their faces are covered with a blue mask with a sad face on them. The true appearance of a Party Pooper is unknown because they refuse to take their jacket or hood off. So I got this awesome concept art of a Party Pooper on Discord and then modeled it out, but it just ended up looking like a drill rapper or something, so I'm not really sure where I went wrong. Now unfortunately, Party Poopers are thought to be extinct because of something called the Fun War, which is when they got into some beef with their ops and ended up in an entire war with them. And the problem was that there were only a couple dozen Party Poopers going against a couple hundred party goers, so you can probably guess who ended up winning the war. But luckily, a few of them managed to escape from the war, and unlike most entities that want to attack you on sight, Party Poopers will help guide you to the exit away from dangerous entities, so if you do run into any in-game, be sure to follow them if you want to survive, because if you don't, then you might just end up running right into a room full of party goers. Now, Party Poopers are located in Level Fun along with Party Goers, but the problem is that right now, Level Fun is one of the smallest levels in the entire game and barely has enough room for the Party Goers alone. So I'm gonna add a brand new level called Level Fun Plus, which is a class dead zone level and is an even deeper and rarer sub-level that consists of inflatable play areas, slides, trampolines, ball pits, and areas that are much more open and free. So I blocked out a much larger area and then added different colored walls and carpets and then made the level absolutely massive with multiple sections like this mini golf area, a bowling alley, a playground, an inflatable park, and so many more areas that you can explore along with adding a few entities throughout them.
Stand in the kitchen with a bit, whipping up bread. Look at my ring light.
So the next entity I'm going to add are Bone Thieves, which are massive potato-shaped beings with bumpy, sickly yellow skin that is practically impervious to all man-made forms of weaponry, aside from nuclear weapons. So I got this amazing Bone Thief model from Brian on Discord and threw it into one of the level 0 sub-levels, and judging by this entity's harmless appearance, it seems to be an extremely friendly entity and will help out human explorers and guide you towards the exit if you're lost. Or not. So for some reason, I thought that Bone Thieves were cuddly and friendly monsters, but it turns out that they're stationary predators that mimic human voices to draw prey near them to make them boneless by extending its neck and slurping up humans. Okay, so imagine this is you and this is a Bone Thief. It'll take its neck and extend it like this, and then try to imitate a person.
My name is Jeff.
And then slurp out only your bones, right? Okay, so then it eats just those bones and leaves everything else just flopping there. Now, I don't really know how that works, but I wouldn't recommend going near it, and make sure to stay with your team so you don't fall for their voice mimicking and somehow accidentally mistake this thing for one of your teammates, which I'm not sure how it's actually possible unless you're legally blind. So before I add the next feature, which is probably the most important feature in the entire Backrooms, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, or you'll no-clip into the Backrooms. And if you guys like these videos, be sure to follow me on Twitter and TikTok since I definitely want to start posting some more smaller content and sneak peeks on there. So the most important feature in the entire Backrooms is no clipping. And the only no clipping currently in the game is a cutscene to get to the next level, but I feel like since no clipping is the entire premise of the Backrooms, I decided to make it an actual mechanic and added these no clipping floors in some of the levels that you can fall through in order to get to another level or avoid danger from entities. And I've also spent a bit of time fixing all the bugs that I never had an opportunity to fix, such as item dupes, and my personal favorite, this bug where you can literally fly across the map. Now, I have no clue how a bug like this even gets into the game in the first place, and I know a lot of you guys do enjoy harmless glitches like this, but since I want to leave early access eventually, I have to patch all the bugs. And unfortunately, one of those bugs that people have been abusing since the game very first came out is b-hopping, where unlike in real life where if you run and jump at the same time, you'll get tired a lot faster than running normally, in my game, you can just sprint and jump at the same time and be able to get through the entire game without ever slowing down. So I made this patch for it that'll stop it from working and... looks like the patch didn't work. I guess b-hopping is staying in the game. So the next level I'm going to add is a custom level called level 55.1, which is a massive room that seems to infinitely stretch in all directions with a tunnel in it that leads to various sub-levels. So I blocked out this massive room and then added a tunnel in the middle and added textures, adjusted the lighting, and then added an elevator that you can use to lower yourself down to the different sub-levels. Now the catch is that the lever to control the elevator is all the way at the top, so you'll need to use teamwork to lower each other down, and if you do happen to get spotted by an entity in one of the sub-levels, you'll need to quickly tell your teammates to raise you back up before it catches you. Now when it comes to strategy, you can either choose to go one at a time, or you can choose to have all of your teammates go down at the same time and have one player stay above controlling the elevator.
You how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine. You just...
The most important part is to make sure you have a teammate that you can trust up on the surface using the elevator.
Hey, can you raise me back up? I see an entity.
Sorry, I can't hear you. The radio's not really working.
Can you hear me now?
Nah, I still can't hear you.
It's not funny. Raise me up.
Okay, hold on. Let me try something.
Bye, have a great time.
I feel kind of bad now. So in my last video, I asked you guys to post every single issue in my game so I can fix them and got tons of comments saying there's lots of bugs, trash models, boring game design, and tons of other issues that make it feel like a total early access game. But not many comments actually said why, and a lot of them just said that I need to straight up remake it all. Now, I can't just delete entire entities or levels or the entire game and just remake it all from scratch just to fix one or two things, since that would literally take months, and odds are it'll probably be worse than it was before. So please, please, please leave a comment down below saying exactly what I need to fix, because I really want this game to be fully polished and optimized for you guys, but as much as I really, really wish I could, unfortunately, I can't read mine. So I also wanted to clarify something, since everyone thinks that once the full release is out, I won't update the game anymore and just let it die out, but I do still plan on adding new content and DLCs even after it releases, but it'll just mean that the main story is done and polished enough to call it a finished product. And I also want to try to keep the game alive by having events on holidays, and the first one will be this Halloween. Now, I didn't really add much since I've been way too busy working on the full release, but I did add a couple decorations around a few levels and some Halloween themed items made by some really talented users in the Discord. But hopefully in the future I can add quests that'll unlock something in game, so leave your suggestions in the comments for different events that we can have. So if you want to stay up to date with even more of the new content coming in the next update, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon so you won't miss my next video where I add them. So with all of that being said, the official release date for the update is...
This is Sparta!
So I recently released an update for my game, and it somehow had 4 times more players than release. How is that even possible? But every time I scroll through my comments, every single one of them is still asking me to add VR support to my game. And I wasn't really planning on adding it until I saw this comment right here that said that even the most unscary, terribly designed, and poorly made games can suddenly become masterpieces in VR. So I decided that it might not be such a bad idea after all to add it to my game. Now the problem is that I've never made a VR game before, and unlike a normal game where the worst the bug can do is crash the game and make players restart, a VR game can give people something called motion sickness. Now I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure that you can literally die from motion sickness, so I need to be extra careful with how I add it to my game. So the way most people tell you to prevent motion sickness is by letting the player teleport to nearby locations, but I think it'd be pretty weird to see your teammates just teleporting around the map in multiplayer, so instead I added an option to snap your rotation, which helps prevent motion sickness and as an added bonus gives the game a little extra scare factor. So in VR mode, not only can you flex on everyone just by having a $5,000 GPU and $2,000 headset needed to even play the game in the first place, but you can also literally flex on people in-game because I added hyper-realistic physics-based arms with advanced inverse kinematic technology and AI-powered hand tracking, which definitely helps increase the immersion and allows you to do a lot of things that normal players can't, like being able to bend over and use bug spray between your legs, tactically blocking the flashlight with your own hand, and probably the most overpowered one, being able to pet the hounds. So hopefully I won't have to nerf these if they cause too much of an advantage.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see.
So after setting up all the interactables, menus, items, and other systems, I can confidently say that you cannot die from motion sickness, because if you could, then I'd probably be in the emergency room right now. Now, I'd recommend setting the game to either medium or low graphics unless you have a $10,000 PC, and it's meant to be played in a clear area with enough space around you, preferably alone in a dark basement without any human interaction for years on end for the best immersion. And make sure your wrist straps stay on at all times and you aren't trying to play it using a 10-year-old Chromebook, or you probably won't have a very fun time. Now, I know most of you guys probably don't have a VR headset, so I can't just leave it at that and call it the new game of the year, so I'm gonna have to add some more levels and entities. So the first new level I'm gonna add is level 7, also known as thalassophobia, which means the fear of the ocean. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. What kind of a person is afraid of the ocean? But I'm not talking about that kind of ocean. I'm talking about this kind of ocean. So level 7 is a class 4 unsafe level and resembles an impossibly large ocean that seems to infinitely stretch in all directions. Despite the absence of a fixed light source, a dim natural light is present across the entire level. Detailed exploration of the ocean is sparse due to the extreme danger, and the level only contains one room known as the entrance room, which is fully furnished and can be used as a home base for those who dare to explore the ocean. So I started off by throwing in this ocean and then slowly modeled out the entrance room that you spawn in and added a few boats that you can use to explore the map. Now, it'd be pretty boring if you were just rowing around in a boat for hours on end, so I'm gonna add the entity in this level known as the Thing in level 7, which is a huge fish-like entity that lurks in the deep ocean and is very aggressive and very rare to appear. It can swallow an entire human being whole and is more likely to attack the longer you spend in the ocean. So I got this model and made it slowly stalk you, and if it chases you for long enough, then it'll start swimming towards you, so make sure you're constantly going from house to house, and don't spend too much time in the ocean. Now, the way you escape this level is by finding an entrance to a cave, and I hate to break it to you, but you aren't going to find one on the surface. You'll need to find scuba diving gear laying around the map and dive all the way to the bottom of the ocean to find the cave. And be sure to stay still if you see any dangers so it can't see your movement or you'll be fish food. So before I add the next level, which might be the scariest one so far, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe or a hound will no-clip into your room. And we just hit 500,000 subs, which is insane, so I thought I'd thank you guys with something special, so I'm gonna do a face reveal. So here it is. This is what the guy in the hazmat suit's face looks like. His name is Rupert, and he's a 67-year-old man from Ohio. So next time you're laughing at the animations with your friends, just remember that there's an actual human being under that suit with arthritis and chronic back pain. So the next level I'm gonna add is...
Wait. Before you do that, have you ever considered that maybe you should return to what the back rooms are truly meant to be? Empty, liminal spaces. Now that's the real thing that makes them scary. You don't need all of these levels and monsters. It's just you.
So the next level I'm going to add is level 8, which is made up of huge caverns and small cave systems that twist and turn like normal underground systems. Many dangerous entities reside in the level, such as Smilers, Skin Stealers, Wretches, male and female death moths, and hounds. So I blocked out this cave system and replaced the cubes with different cave pieces and added some details and adjusted the lighting to give it an eerie atmosphere, and then went throughout the level and spammed a bunch of entities that'll randomly spawn in various locations, so you can't memorize the way to go. And speaking of the Skin Stealers in this level, so many people have been asking me to buff them since it's apparently too easy to tell who they are. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if a 2000 IQ ChatGPT powered AI was trying to convince me they're a real player, I would just rage quit if they turn into a Skin Stealer. But in level 8, you're not going to have that problem because unlike other levels where you can see them chasing you from across the map, these guys will be slowly lurking around the caves with flashlights. And to make it even harder, sometimes the paths will close behind your teammates and split you up. So be extremely careful and tell everyone to pull their card out immediately if you see someone. So those are all the new levels and entities I'm going to add in this video, and VR support is already in the game if you want to check it out. And this isn't meant to be a VR game, and I'm definitely not a VR developer, so it's probably going to have a lot of bugs, but don't freak out since I'll be right here to fix them up. Also, super important note, the game is called Escape the Backrooms, so make sure you double check the name before you accidentally buy the wrong game and then bully me in the comment section. Now, the new levels and entities aren't in the game yet since I don't want to just throw them in random places throughout the game without connecting them to more levels, and I want to have more of a non-linear map layout, and just adding a couple levels at a time isn't really going to help achieve that. So I'm going to wait until part 3 to add them, along with even more new levels and entities and some brand new features. So be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon so you won't miss my next video where I add them. Welcome to Escape the Backrooms, an exploration game with massive maps that you can explore for hours on end without ever finding the exit. Wait, is that the whole map? So my game kind of has a problem. The backrooms are supposed to be millions upon millions of square miles, but the size of the levels in my game can be measured in inches. So I'm going to be adding massive new levels filled with brand new entities, adding procedural generation to make the levels unique every single playthrough, and making the levels that are already in the game even bigger. So the first new level I'm going to add is level 5, which is a 1930s vintage hotel which is presumably infinite with many rooms and halls that contains 3 main areas: the main hall, the Beverly room, and the boiler room. So I modeled out the lobby as well as the main hall that connects it to other rooms, and I really don't know what a Beverly room is, so I just modeled out this hotel room along with hallways that you can explore to try and find the exit. And for the boiler room, I created this massive underground system filled with pipes and boilers with different temperatures throughout the level, so be sure to keep a thermometer on you to make sure you don't overheat. So this level is a class 2 unsafe level, which means that it's not completely free of risk. Not only are there Skin Stealers and hounds spread throughout the level, but the closer you get to the boiler room, the more you'll encounter entities called death moths, which are moths that are extremely hostile and dangerous and will attack anyone that tries to aggravate. Now, I'm not a fan of bugs, so looking at this sends shivers down my spine, so if you're afraid of bugs, then I suggest looking away, because this is what it looks like in-game. Now, these male death moths are some of the most dangerous entities in the entire backroom, not only because they can fly, but also... Oh, and I forgot to mention, I also added female death moths, which are the same thing, but way bigger. So as soon as you hear any buzzing whatsoever that might indicate there's a moth nearby, you need to stop whatever you're doing and instantly make a run for your life. And whatever you do, don't go in their hive, just trust me, don't do it. I also added smaller groups of male death moths scattered around the level and a new item called bug spray which can kill them to drop moth jelly, which might sound pretty gross since it's a gelatinous slime that drops out of a bunch of dead insects, but it's actually really helpful since it gives you a big speed and stamina boost, which can definitely help out if you make the mistake of shining a flashlight at one of them. The next level I'm going to add, well, more like change, is level 94. So in most pictures, level 94 is just a bunch of houses in a hilly, grassy level, but that's not good enough for me, or the people in my Discord, which if you haven't joined, then you definitely should if you want your suggestions to be added to the game. So I added roads, sirens that play vintage cartoon music, and trucks you can use to ride around the level. And I already mentioned it in a previous video, but there's also a day and night cycle, and whatever you do, make sure you don't get caught outside in the dark, because there are entities called animations, which are extremely hostile entities that look like puppets and will hunt down wanderers at night. They aren't the most intelligent entities, so your best chance for survival is to hide from them. So I got this doll model, and wait, this guy looks totally harmless. There's no way he can actually be dangerous. Oh, what the fuck? So even though animations might look friendly, once it gets dark, they become extremely vicious and will kick down doors and search houses. So be sure to hide and don't let them see you under any circumstance. So the way you escape level 94 is by going from house to house, moving through the level during the day while maintaining your sanity level, and also avoiding any flying trucks as a result of my terrible coding skills. And if you can survive the level for long enough, you'll eventually reach the floating castle, which is a castle that appears to be a funhouse area and contains a large doorway that will lead to the throne room, which contains a brand new boss entity known as the Animated King, who is highly intelligent and will put you through a test to see if you can withstand your own worst nightmares, so good luck with that. So I modeled out this room based on the reference from the wiki that contains an entrance to the throne room, which looks like this. Now I couldn't find a reference of what the Animated King looks like, so I decided to go with everyone's worst nightmare, a plastic clown with green hair. Or is that just me? So when it comes to the boss fight, it can't just be a typical boss fight because it really wouldn't make much sense in this game. So instead, I made it so that it only spawns behind you and will chase you around in the dark and disappear before you get a chance to see him. So make sure you're constantly checking your back, and if you're in a multiplayer game, be sure to let your teammates know he's behind them before it's too late. So before I add the next level, I need to add the most important mechanic by far in the entire backrooms. But first, hit the like button, subscribe, because we're so close to 500,000 subs, which is absolutely insane. So thank you guys so much. And if you don't, then there's a possibility you might no-clip into the backrooms. I'm just saying. Now, the most requested and most important feature in the entire backrooms is sanity, which gets lower whenever you enter dangerous areas and can be raised by drinking almond water or by just chilling out in the pool rooms. So I added a sanity bar and also added visual effects the lower it gets, and once your sanity is empty, then it's already too late and you'll start slowly going insane. So be sure to always stay alert for your current sanity level and drink almond water constantly. I also added stats on the sanity levels of every level in the hub, so it's probably a good idea to check those before entering into a new level. The next level I'm going to add is level 6, also known as Lights Out. Level 6 is an expansive complex of indeterminable size, made up of metallic walls, brick floors, and a complex system of pipes. The entirety of level 6 is shrouded in complete darkness, and very little is actually known about it, since even flashlights don't work, but it's widely regarded as the most dangerous level in the entire backrooms. Now, since almost every screenshot of the level is just a black screen, it's kind of hard to come up with references for what it looks like, but I managed to find this image on the wiki and blocked it out and added pipes, props, decals, textures, and some natural lighting coming from outside. Now, don't get too excited because this is the only natural light source in the entire level. Everything else is pitch black, so once you get to a certain point, even your flashlight won't work anymore. Now, it'd be pretty lame if you and your friends were just stumbling around in the dark, walking into walls, so I decided to add an item that I think is pretty unique called a LiDAR scanner, which lets you light up walls and find your teammates. I also added a motion scanner to it, which lets you stay alert of the entities in this level called wretches, which are wanderers who have undergone extreme changes, turning them into this abomination. Wretches are extremely hostile and carry weapons and tools such as firearms, grenades, night vision goggles, and melee weapons, so be sure to drink your almond water or you'll end up like this guy. Now, wretches have extremely good hearing, so if you see one on your radar coming your way, be sure to hide and stay as quiet as possible and hope it doesn't hear you. Now, the final level I'm going to add in this update is level 0, which you're probably thinking,
but didn't you already add that level?
And the answer is yes. But you probably didn't know that level 0 also has sub-levels, like level 0.1, which is exactly like level 0 but with red lights. Level 0.2, which is also exactly like level 0 but with red carpets. And my personal favorite, level 0. McDonald's sign, which is literally just a McDonald's inside of the backrooms. Now, I know they seem kind of boring, but the reason I'm adding them to the game is so I can experiment with a little something called procedural generation, which is what pretty much everyone is asking me to add. Now the reason I haven't added it yet is because there's a lot of technical issues that make it really hard to add, since you not only have to code an entire procedural generation system, but also use procedural lighting, procedural shadows, and procedural AI navigation, which not only looks bad, but will also fry your computer. So I'm going to experiment with making this level procedurally generated, and if it performs well, then I might start using it in some other levels. So in level 0.1, you need to go through the level and find the missing explorers while avoiding multiple entities who lurk throughout the map. Now be sure to take the time when the lights are on to find as many explorers as you can, because the catch is the lights periodically turn off, so be sure to come fully equipped with flashlights and scanners and be prepared to hide if you need to. I also added a spray paint item, which I highly recommend you use. Otherwise, if you get killed, then you'll have no way to find your items. So the new level 0 and its sub-levels aren't going to be in the game this update, since I don't want there to be a bug in the procedural generation code and have everyone's computer just crash on the first level, which, by the way, if you haven't noticed, the update is out right now, so be sure to check it out. The game is called Escape the Backrooms, not any other name, since I've seen so many comments describing things that aren't even in my game.